Hello everybody, I'm Dan here with the Hammer Game Channel. Welcome back to HOI4 A to Z Kaiserredux Edition, where today we're finally playing as Finland, a nation I'd actually planned on having a video out for many moons ago, however it just never happened. So here we are today, let's hop in and get cracking, shall we? So here we are, the Kingdom of Finland, currently ruled by Fredrik Karl I, and our Prime Minister is Per Envid Sunhufud. I pronounced that so wrong, it's unbelievable. We do have 3 national spirits. We have Sisu, which is absolutely fantastic, and yeah, I hope that doesn't disappear anytime soon. Melting Descent is obviously terrible, and Ukrainian grain imports is good for stability, but I'd rather not have the consumer goods factories factor plus 10, but I have a funny feeling this will go when Black Monday obviously occurs. And as for our focus tree today, this is it here. We have, of course, the different political routes. So this is the Nat Pop. We have Mannerheim's ascendancy, which can go one of 2 ways. They can start having elections again, or he can just consolidate his rule as an authoritarian democracy. We have the Old Order, which is sticking with Friedrich. And then we have the different parties that can take over through the elections. And then we obviously have the Red Finland route as well. We have a tiny foreign policy part of the tree, which is split into diplomacy or aggression, basically, which is definitely the route I will be taking today. And then we have the usual Air Force, Army stuff there, and the industry stuff as well. So to kick things off, I think we'll go ahead and finish this power plant, which gives us 2 building slots and 1 semi-factory, as well as 4 steel in Western Karelia. The slap heard across the Atlantic. Basically, we actually had quite good relations with Argentina. However, an incident at dinner has resulted in President Carles slapping the Queen across the face, which is now resulting in us issuing a trade embargo of Argentina and them doing that to us. Well, here it is. Black Monday has arrived and we are now gaining the National Spirit Economic Depression, which as you can see is pretty terrible. Okay, we are slowly starting to deal with the economic depression. Issuing state bonds is going to further help that, and then we'll empower the however you pronounce that, which further helps with it. We also have the Polish People's Republic as well. I'm hoping Germany is going to step in and deal with them before they join the Third Internationale. So obviously we've not only got economic troubles currently plaguing the nation, but we also have some tension between different political parties. So the Red Guard and the La Pau movement have just clashed. So yeah, we're starting to get a little bit worried about the ongoing events that are taking place between them. So due to the various clashes between the La Pau movement and the Red Guard, King Friedrich Karl has been deliberating with regards to allowing the the state police to take more active role in pacifying the radicals so as to get set a precedent that dissent will no longer be tolerated. So we could go ahead and send in the state police, or we could not do that and hope the situation resolves itself. That is never the option to choose, so we're going to send in the state police to hopefully start to deal with this matter. So King Friedrich Karl I has turned towards giving a speech now to the people in order to reconcile with certain segments of the population while also strengthening his position with supporters. So he's given the speech at the Parliament House in Helsinki and broadcast it through radio to Finns all across the nation. And it's actually bought the country some much needed time to resolve the issues currently plaguing it. Well, we've finished all the focuses we can do right now to help with the economic recovery, and we've dealt a decent blow to what it was sitting at when we first got given it, so the economy is doing a lot better. We're going to take the opportunity now to grab another research slot, which will take us up to a nice 4. So the SAK, which is the syndicalist party for the nation, has called for a general strike. I am not going to concede to their demands at all. If we get a general strike, we get a general strike. They can get out. Yeah, there we go. There's some labour strikes taking place until October now, but that's fine. We can deal with that. So tensions are escalating in Lozia as a direct result of the workers' strike. The La Pau movement is taking matters into its own hands. They're defying legal norms, are forcibly closed not only the Lozia People's House, but also target several others. Basically, they're trying to take out any syndicalist elements within Lozia. So we could send a mobile police group to Lozia, or we shall not provoke the radicals. I believe what we will do is we will not provoke them, and we'll just let them fight each other Radical demands. The confrontation in Loja between Mikko Einrich and the White Guard, led by Lieutenant Ezra Terra, sends shockwaves through Uzima, if I pronounce that correctly. Governor Ilmari Helnius, witnessing the volatile situation, opts for the hands-off approach, refraining from direct intervention to prevent further escalation. In the aftermath of the Lapao movement, sees events as triumph, interpreting Einrich's forced departure as victory for their cause. The lack of police interference bolsters their confidence, further consolidating support among their followers. Okay, that was not good not intervening then. However, the seemingly triumphant movement quickly transforms into a catalyst for more radical demands. They are emboldened by what they perceive as a victory. They're issuing a new set of demands: the closure of all people's houses in Finland, along with a public ban on the recently established Central Federation of Trade Unions and ESDP. Now faced with increasingly extreme demands, the government is forced to reassess its strategy. We're going to ignore them. The Loja Declaration, the government's decision to ignore the Lapao movement's initial demands, becomes a turning point, leading to an escalation in their radicalisation. Fueled by the belief that the government's silence is a tactic endorsed of syndicalism, social democracy, they have intensified their calls for action. Now, in addition to the closure of people's houses and the ban on trade unions, the SDP, they demand the resignation of the government. This unexpected twist, despite the respect for Prime Minister, sees a tragedy to force his hand into banning the SDP. Now, Lieutenant has emerged as a spiritual leader among the rebels, embodying the fervour and determination of the movement. Passionate and fiery speech, he articulates the declaration of rebellion, addressed directly to the King Prime Minister. The document condemns syndicalism and Marxism, placing blame on figures like Prokop for alleging leading the nation towards destruction. The declaration declares an unwavering commitment to their cause, asserting the necessity of defeating syndicalism, even if it means challenging the very state power that protects it. A stark warning of an impending civil war, emphasising that while the state's power may crush their troops, it will fail to overcome the mass of patriotic people rallying against it. Okay, this is not going very well at all now, is it? Oh, they're gearing up for action. Prepare the defences of Helsinki. Oh jeez, this is escalating very, very quickly and very badly right now. The Kingdom Protection Act. Amidst rising tensions and the looming threat of rebel forces marching on the capital, the government under Prime Minister Per Einvid, I'm just going to call him Per, takes decisive steps to safeguard strategic targets in Helsinki. Troops are strategically deployed to protect key locations against potential attacks from the movement. In response to the escalating crisis, the government contemplates invoking the Kingdom Protection Act. Initially enacted against syndicalists, the Act could now be wielded against the movement. If implemented, the Act empowers the government to order the arrest of the movement's leadership and the closure of its newspapers. This move carries significant implications. On one hand, it would render all actions by the movement definitely illegal, marking them as acts against the state and social order. This could quash the movement's influence and activities, restoring a semblance of order. On the other hand, such a drastic measure risks further escalation, leaving little room for peaceful resolution. Outlawing the movement might solidify its stance as a radical force, potentially pushing it towards a more extreme actions and defiance. We're going to go ahead and take, perhaps there's still a chance for peaceful solution. Their demands intensify. In wake of the government's decision not to invoke the Kingdom Protection Act, the movement seizes upon what they perceive as a victory and intensifies their demands, pushing the nation further into a precarious situation. Seeing the government's hesitancy as a sign of weakness, the movement leadership issues another public statement. This declaration not only solidify their demands for the closure of people's houses, but escalate their rhetoric. Union demands now include the immediate ban on the SAK and the complete outlawing of the SDP. The movement portrays these demands as essential for safeguarding the nation against what they deem to be insidious influence of syndicalism. The propaganda machine goes into overdrive, framing the government's reluctance as evidence of collusion with syndicalists and social democrats. Holy moly. We should not give in to some radicals. So, choosing to stand firm against the movement's demands, the government issues a resolute statement emphasising the importance of upholding democratic principles and the rule of law. The Prime Minister has categorically rejected the calls to ban the SDP and shut down people's houses, asserting that such actions would undermine the foundations of Finnish democracy. The response from the movement is swift and incendiary. Viewing the government's stance as a direct challenge to the vision for a syndicalist-free Finland, they have escalated their activities. Mass protest strikes and acts of civil disobedience are organised across the country, creating a climate of unrest. The White Guard, sympathetic to the cause, have mobilised in various regions, putting additional pressure on the government. As the political standoff intensifies, Finland becomes increasingly divided. The situation reaches a point where the government is forced to consider the deployment of security forces to maintain order, risking further polarisation and potential clashes in the streets. To quell the escalation rebellion, the Finnish government has implemented the Kingdom Protection Act, effectively outlawing the movement. Orders are issued for the arrest of Kosola, and Major General K.M. Awalnius, the prominent figures behind the movement. In response to these actions, the movement's delegation has convened in a city hotel. They issue a statement asserting the current social unrest cannot be pacified unless the government resigns immediately. A new political direction is chartered for the country. The movement reiterates its demands for the government free from party politics and insists on the endorsement of patriotic citizens. General Rudolf Walden is put forth as the movement's candidate to lead the new government. Within the government and military circles, conflicting opinions arise on how to handle the rebellion. A faction including Interior Minister Prokop, opposition leader Veno Tanner, advocate for a forceful response to crush the movement. On the opposing sides, the veteran organisations of General Haines Ignatius, the Front Soldier League, as well as General Mannerheim, though not publicly, have supported the rebels and called for the government's resignation. With the state police introduced previously by the government, the king and his government are also in favour of quelling the rebellion, supported by Paul von Gericke, the chief of the Royal Finnish Army. Everything changed when Arn Schivo, a notable commander and the new leader of the White Guard, has taken charge. Despite his knowledge of the pro-views, he ordered to the officers that unlawfully left their protection districts to Lozja to return back or face serious consequences. He called for the immediate and forceful crackdown on the movement. Schivo's call has influenced the Prime Minister even more. Despite some members of the National Coalition resigning solidarity with the movement, the Prime Minister has taken the stance of head and agreed to a serious crackdown. With the Kingdom Protection Act already implemented against the movement, the fate of the movement and its treacherous leadership is likely determined. We could resign. We're not going to do that. We're going to order the crackdown on the rebellion. The end of the rebellion. In a decisive move, the Prime Minister, supported by the SDP opposition chief of Arn Schivo, and the chief of the Royal Army, Paul von Gericke, opts for a forceful crackdown on the movement. The decision is made to arrest the movement's leadership and disband the pro-White Guards. With the backing of Loyalist forces, Jaeger troops move swiftly to execute the orders. In a coordinated effort, the movement's leaders are apprehended. They're all arrested, and that's justified under the Kingdom Protection Act. Simultaneously, in Lozja, another individual is arrested, and the White Guards, once supportive of the movement, are forcefully disbanded. Government's forceful action establishes the Prime Minister as the victor in the struggle against the movement. With this victory comes at a cost, as the influence of the SDP and Veno Tanner grows. Despite securing the government, some officials resign from their offices, and within the National Coalition, internal division emerges. A faction within the party, aggrieved by what they perceive as treacherous sympathisers, departs, calling for justice. In the aftermath, the focus shifts to legal proceedings against the leaders of the rebellion. The court is expected to pass judgment on the actions of the movement and its leaders, determine the penalties for their defiance against the state and social order. The following month promises to be critical as Finland grapples with the repercussions of the rebellion and the government's forceful response. The country has been saved. So we remove Edwin from our cabinet and we get that individual instead. We gain some stability. Kurt Walnia stops being a general and we complete the focus, the old order. And now we can go ahead and work down this part of the tree. Wonderful. Well, here is the downsides of having to deal with that rebellion. The SAK, the syndicalists, have been fueling the flames behind the scenes, and now there is a vacuum that needs to be filled, and they are seeing themselves as the ones to do that. The unstoppable march of revolution. In the turbulent aftermath of the rebellion, Finland found itself hurtling towards a full-scale revolution. It began as labour strikes, initially confined to economic concerns, rapidly evolved in a sweeping wave of dissent, fuelled by a potent mixture of political, economic and social grievances. The government's forceful crackdown on the movement, while suppressing one form of dissent, only served to amplify the growing discontent within the broader working class. As the strikes gained momentum, the demands of the protesters broadened from immediate economic relief to encompass sweeping political reforms. Veno Tanner's Social Democratic Party, despite initial attempts to distance itself from what they labelled as a foreign-influenced protest, found itself caught in the tide of revolutionary fervour. The protesters' primary demand, voiced through the trade unions, was lifting of the ban on socialist press, a restrictive measure imposed by the government under the influence of the movement. Prime Minister's government, unyielding in its position to syndicalist influences, had no intention of making concessions. Instead, their strategy was to deploy the White Guard, staunchly anti-syndicalist, against the protesters and strikers. The first clashes have already erupted in Lozja. Lozja is just getting absolutely pounded right now. And the violence there set a dangerous precedent for the unfolding conflict. As the strike spread across the country, the streets became battlegrounds. The police, backed by the White Guard, clashed with the strikers, further escalating tensions. The revolutionary momentum, once confined to economic demands, now sought to challenge the very foundations of the existing political order. The SDP, despite its historical association with workers' movements, was concerned about maintaining its standing among Finnish political parties, refrained from endorsing the revolutionary actions. Coming days promised uncertainty, but one thing was clear: Finland was in flames, and the fire of revolution showed no signs of abating. Uh-oh. Oh no, and now we've got the emergence of the Red Guards. Oh, there's going to be some bad clashes here, some very bad ones. The Clash of the Guards, I called it. As the revolutionary momentum surges and the government grapples with a decision regarding the White Guard's role, the streets of Finnish cities become a battleground between two opposing non-governmental forces, the Red Guards and the White Guards, setting a grim reminder of the Civil War. As clashes between the Red Guards and the White Guards escalate, the Finnish government faces a critical decision regarding the deployment of the armed forces. In an emergency session, the Prime Minister, flanked by key ministers and military advisors, addresses the urgent matter at hand. The central question resolves around whether to deploy the Finnish armed forces against the revolutionaries or to maintain a neutral stance, allowing the non-governmental forces to resolve the conflict among themselves. No, we don't even need to read the rest of this. We're going to command von Guericke to support the White Guard. Army intervention crushes the revolution. In a decisive move that curbed the revolutionary fervour spreading through Finland, the Prime Minister, backed by a national coalition and key military figures, orders the deployment of the Finnish armed forces. The intervention aims to quell the uprising and maintain the existing order. As the armed forces move in to suppress the Red Guards and the revolutionary elements, clash erupt in the streets of major cities. The government, alarmed by the rapid escalation of the situation, believes that a firm and forceful response is necessary to prevent what they view as a threat to the established social and political structure. Despite initial momentum, the revolutionary forces find themselves overwhelmed by the superior firepower and organisation of the Finnish armed forces. Clashes are fierce, leading to a series of confrontations in which the revolutionaries face significant setbacks. The charismatic leader at the forefront of the revolution is targeted by government forces. As the armed forces close in on key revolutionary figures, he is apprehended, effectively dismantling a central pillar of the movement. The suppression of the revolution, the dream of a socialist republic in Finland, shatters once again, and finally, mounting dissent is no more. Expanding the state police. It is clear that we must take to expand the role of the state police so as to allow the detection of activities deemed as stirring up dissent and hopefully end such activities before they can take hold in the nation and gain widespread influence amongst the people. That sounds like a really good idea considering we've just had the Battle of Two movement. As such, King Friedrich Karl I has seen fit to increase the budget and powers of the state police, whilst also delegating day-to-day matters to the intelligence ministers within his cabinet. The increase in funding has allowed for the investigation office of the state police to employ a greater amount of employees, while also allowing them to test out new methods to deal with any sort of descendants and protect the King of Finland's internal security. This has, of course, not been popular with the large segments of the population who view the measure as both excessive and totalitarian. Well, I don't care. It is for the greater good. Oh, Sweden has just became a republic, and Norway's joined the Third Internationale. Well, we'll definitely be invading you then. I've just noticed that Russia is proclaiming a socialist republic. So they're going to have a revolution. I'm going to switch to Soviet Russia. Sorry, who is justifying on me? The Ukrainian People's Republic is justifying against us. I wish I knew what you were doing. Sorry, Poland joined what faction? The Eastern Europe Defensive Pact, which is just Poland and Ukraine. Well, that's horrific. I was going to say, who's this light blue over here? But it's the Missouri Democratic Organization under Tom Pendergast. Well, we've just completed the Old Order part of the tree. We now have a stable Finland, which has unlocked the foreign policy part of the tree. So we could do diplomacy, but why the hell would I do that? We are going to go ahead and obviously draw upon that, which is going to give us some stuff. We then can claim some of Norway and Sweden, and then proclaim Greater Finland later on down the line. Well, it does appear that Hungary has emerged victorious against Austria, but Austria is now at war with, well, the Belgrade Pact, and Dalaria, and Slovenia, so it's not looking good for them. I've just noticed that this gives us minus 15% consumer goods for 730 days as well, some stability and war support, so let's go ahead and grab that. We do have some decisions here now to get some civic factories, as well as much needed resources. However, we do need to have certain levels of excavation. We don't even have excavation 1, so I think we will go ahead and start working on that right now. Well, we have spent quite a decent period of time building up the supply in the north. There's a lot of supply hubs being built in railway lines. It looks like it's having the desired effect, which is good. We were obviously preparing for the second Weltkrieg to kick off in, well, probably about 9 months' time. So I've just decided, just in case things don't go that well for us, I'm just building some land forts in the north because their numbers are pretty decent, so we might not actually be being that aggressive to begin with, potentially. Well, the moment we've been waiting for is just around the corner. The Commune of France is justifying against us, which can only mean one thing: the Alsace Ultimatum. Oh, there it is, the declaration of war. The second Weltkrieg is here. Yep, the world is at war once again. Well, Germany, I will accept your call to arms. Try and move into Norway as quickly as possible here. Okay, got a couple of wee encirclements, which is good. Actually, we've got more than just a couple of wee encirclements. We're actually mopping up a decent wee bit of their army here. Okay, we're off to a very good start here against Norway. A very good start indeed. Wow, we killed 39,000 Norwegians already. Well, I have a funny feeling we're probably not going to be moving anywhere now. It'll just be a matter of sitting and wait till Germany can do something. Service by requirement already is insane, but we need it. Okay, we're actually having a really good time right now. How many men have we lost? 15,000. How many have we killed? 72, 45. Oh, a decent amount. Obviously, it's a shame we can't just naval invade Stockholm. We could repurpose these troops, to be fair. We don't really have manpower. Oh, that is the Entente being called into the war. Welcome to them. Well, it's nice to see the Germans are still holding. It does look like the French are seeing some fatigue in some of their divisions in terms of supply. I can't remember that kicking off, but Germany's fighting... Actually, nope. It looks like it's just... Oh no, it looks like it's just kicked off because Germany is not on that border. Oh dear, that might actually be somewhat of a problem. Okay, we might want to try and tidy up this front sooner rather than later. Well, that's Poland being absolutely obliterated. I guess Ukraine's probably going to fall quite quickly now as well, now that they're on their own. Well, I'm very intrigued to see what it means elite infantry. Like, what are they going to be? But we've completely prioritised the Jaeger troops, so we're going to get the effects doubled here, so we're going to get 2 divisions. Oh no, some absolute tragic news. Our king's dead. Well, he died at 72. I suppose that's pretty good going in terms of things, so Valno the First is now going to be our leader. Oh wow, okay, we do actually get elite infantry. Long-range patrol company. Oh my days. Oh, their class as special forces. I knew there was going to be a catch. Oh, the Germans won. The Ukrainian state is back. And Ukraine's faithful son is on the throne. Really hope we can take Stockholm here. It's only 1 division after all. Okay. We're in. Right, it's time to take out Sweden and Norway, hopefully. That way we can actually head elsewhere. Don't know how much it's going to take to actually knock Sweden out, but... Oh my days, is that the Union of Britain actually coming to their aid? Oh, they're almost gone actually. Malmo might be enough to take them down. And we're walking into it? Yeah, we're literally walking into Malmo. Yep, there goes Sweden. Fantastic. Okay. Obviously Narvik is a priority as well, but it looks like we're already... sitting quite nicely in there, and Germany's declared war on Russia. Right, yeah, good luck with that, Germany, considering you weren't even over here. Norway should be going, surely. Like, where even is their capital at this point? Ah, great, Svalbard. Oh no, there we go, we've taken them out. Nice, just need to mop up what remains. Well, the siege of the Union of Britain is underway. Let's see how well this actually goes. Oh, okay, was not expecting just to land immediately, but okay, we'll take that. Let us push up towards Aberdeen and Inverness. They are managing to reinforce, but I'm hoping we'll be able to keep the pressure on them. Oh, Germany's starting to push through as well against the Commune of France. The front with the Russians is looking a little bit worse for wear, though. Let's not lie about that. And it looks like Austria's made a resurgence. Alright, the rest of our divisions are on their way. Hull is still holding out. Yeah, it's not going to be holding out for much longer. It's completely surrounded. Okay, Hull's gone. London is under siege. There goes London. And there goes the Union of Britain. Wonderful. Okay, we've made a successful landing in Brest. Cherbourg, the divisions are kind of cut off right now, so we need to try and break through and just link up with them, which should be easier Quite easy, actually. Yeah, France isn't doing... Oh my days, they ain't doing too well. We've killed 43,000. I'll take that. And we're classed as a major as well, which is always nice. Like having major status in the world. Makes me feel important, and that is some encirclement. Front I'm mainly concerned about is over here, but it does look like we're holding Russians quite nicely now. I suppose we're in 19% of the fight, which is quite nice. If we can take Sweden and Norway in the peace deal, we'll be happy. Just stack our troops a little bit more death-stackily. Not really a word, but I'd just rather we just smash right through to Marseille. Oh, doesn't matter because they've just capitulated. Wonderful. Well, not gonna lie, that's a pretty good peace deal for us, and more importantly, we actually have a navy now because I've just stripped the Union of Britain of theirs. And of course, I got all of Sweden and Norway and all of the UK. Not really happy with who we've put in power of Norway, but okay, great. We have returned Gustav V to the throne in Sweden though, so that's something. There we go, the Covenanter, oh, Scotland, we have England, and the Kingdom of Wales. Wonderful. And we got the Torn Valley as well, which is nice. Although what I should have done was also then attack Norway, because then Finnmark Plateau would have been claimed as ours, because... Oh wait, have we taken that actually? No, that would have been this piece of land. So sadly guys, we're going to have to leave that episode there, due to obviously the time difference between me recording the first episode and attempting to record the second part. The game's been updated multiple times, so my save is no longer any use to me. It keeps crashing, so sadly we're going to have to leave it there. I had planned on defeating Russia, but sadly not this time. So I hope you enjoyed nonetheless, and I will catch you all very soon for another video. Till then, do take care. Cheer bye, then now.